Alright, so I've been seeing a lot of people posting different builds on Remnant 2, and good morning, Squeaker. A lot of people have, they seem to be under a bit of a misunderstanding for just how powerful mods can be. Now, I wish I could show you my actual DPS on this build, but the problem is, it shoves me completely out of the firing range when I do it. But, you'll see for yourself what I mean in just a second here. Like, it is absolutely stupid, the kind of damage you can do. And I've just constantly got both Big Bang and Aphelion's mod, Supernova, ready at all times. Now, there's a few different ways to do this, but the one that I use is, I run Stone of Malevolence. See, a lot of people are sleeping on Stone of Malevolence because they see elemental damage generates 15% additional mod power, and they figure that's just elemental damage. Their physical damage isn't going to generate any more mod power, so they figure they'll use this one instead, Spirit Stone, since it'll get just 10% to all mod power generation. That's not actually how that works. And if you want an example of that, actually, you know what, even better than this one, that's 10% additional mod power. That's supposed to count for both physical and elemental, but it doesn't. Another one, for example, Burden of the Follower is one reduced fire rate by 15% increases mod power generation by 50%. Surely, if anything is better at generating mod power than the Stone of Malevolence, it would be this, right? Because the build I'm using doesn't rely on fire rate. I'm literally only single-shotting the mods themselves. Now, you saw last time, I started with Big Bang, then Supernova, and just went back and forth pretty much. Alright, so we're gonna do the same thing here. Oh, let me reload this one. There we go. Alright. Big Bang. Activate Supernova. You see how crap that mod power generation is. Look at that garbage. I don't even have Supernova back. I have one stack of Big Bang, and that is it, dude. That is crap. And you watched me. The only thing I did was swap out Stone of Malevolence. That was all I did. Now watch this. I went from 50% mod power down to 15% from elemental damage. Full on both mods, instantly. Right? Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It makes no mathematical sense. Alright, so here's what happens. Here's what happens. Okay. So, items like this that increase mod power generation, the reason that they seem to not generate nearly as much mod power is because they only seem to apply to basic mod power generation from like physical damage. Now you're expected to be able to do more physical damage than elementals, so physical damage doesn't actually generate anywhere near the same amount of mod power as elemental damage does. Elemental damage generates way more mod power per damage than physical damage does. Also, it seems like some mods just don't let you generate mod power for them until the mod has been completely finished in running its course, so to say. I'm not sure why that is, but it makes these rings completely useless. Whereas with those same mods, if you're running this, any elemental damage during the interim of when you activate that mod and when it ends, that elemental damage still applies toward activating the next use of the mod. For example, if you were to use something like one of these. Oh, let me get it real quick. I'm using detonation trigger, so even the basic fire for the star shot, it counts as an explosion and applies burning. So I can just generate mod power all day with that thing. Now for this thing, you heard that, right? That gong sound should mean that as soon as this mod is done with, I can reactivate it. Yep. See, I've already got it back after 2 shots. You kidding me? It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you want to see how to make mods actually do this, I recommend running Archon as your primary. The main reason is the Tempest Prime perk. You automatically generate 3 mod power per second. Casting a mod increases all mod generation by 100% for 10 seconds. Now, the key word there is all mod generation. That also applies to elemental mod power, you would think. But as you just saw, I never changed my archetype. And when I changed from Stone of Malevolence to Burden of the Follower, I didn't get anywhere near the same mod power generation with that prime perk as I did running Stone of Malevolence. So I don't think this this archetype actually does generate all mod generation. I think what happens is it adds 100% to the mod power that you generate already. So if you're not generating elemental mod power, which is what this actually activates during the use of your mod, you don't get that 100%. Is what's happening, if you follow me there. I think having this item equipped seems to make it so that you generate elemental damage mod power, period. I don't think you actually generate elemental damage mod power unless this thing is equipped. I think it's bugged in that way. That's my assumption, because you would think if you take this off, just 15% less elemental damage generating mod power wouldn't really be that big a deal. But I mean, as you've seen, we do 2 crossbow shots and we've got our mod back. Oh, I guess maybe 3 because I didn't get weak spot shots. But yeah, I mean, you get the idea. Now, there's a lot of things you can do with this. Like, for example, when you use a Felion, another thing people are sleeping on is the detonation trigger. This actually, coupled with the Stone of Malevolence, this enables a lot of mod generation builds that you just can't run otherwise. For example, where is it? Rotted Arrow is absolutely fantastic for controlling mobs. If you want to use sniper rifles or crossbows or something like that, because it can clear out hallways and just stop enemies from advancing down the hallway, period. And as you can see, detonation trigger makes it so that it also applies burning and generates mod power to the point you can pretty much use it infinitely even if you only hit 1 enemy with it. Oh, shut up, Rabbis. I didn't mean to talk to you.
2 shots, center mass.
Alright.
Stop most of your problems.
Yeah, it's like I just shoot it once and I've already got the mod back. Easy peasy, right? Now the cool thing about this, like I said before, is this opens up a lot of possibilities for your mod power generation. This is another one that not a lot of people seem to use Alpha and Omega because I don't think they realize that they can actually do this. I've already got all 3 mods back. if you hit different targets with it, you generate significantly more mod power with this. That's just because you're dealing more elemental damage over time. So when your explosions apply burning, each one is only going to apply burning to whatever targets it hits. So a lot of people will want to run amplitude so their explosions can hit as many targets as possible. But word of caution, be careful with that because you will very easily kill yourself. Some other good weapons nobody really seems to be using, I think because you just can't really generate mod power or anything with some of them are like Sagittarius. I'm just going to hit one right here. Got the mod back again already. Yeah. You can see it makes those explosions apply burning. Another one a lot of people are sleeping on is the Twisted Arbalast. Let's get our mod power back. Alright, so when this thing has full mod power, it makes enemies illuminated. And when that happens, you activate the mod. Bam. Nice, right? Now, the only another one, Star Killer. If you completed the game on Apocalypse, you'll get this bad boy. This was one of the guns on the first game that I liked a lot. This is another one you have to be really careful if you use the amplitude trait on, because that's already huge. You will absolutely destroy your whole team with that if you're not careful. Same with Big Bang, for example. I've killed my buddy Bill more times than I can count with that. Now, the only thing I think I've found that counts as an explosion is Spore Shot. That doesn't actually... I think this is a bug, that it doesn't apply burning. It doesn't apply burning, therefore it doesn't apply elemental damage, therefore it does not generate additional mod power from elemental damage. And that's kind of sad, because I actually really like running reload builds with this, like reload and fire range builds with this, and that's a little sad, but that's okay, because life goes on. Another thing is the Hellfire handgun. This one, oh, hang on, let me, okay. The Hellfire gun works just like the Nebula, I believe it's called, that does, what's it called, corrosive damage. The difference is this one has an explosive for its alternate fire. The weird thing about that, though, is this explosion doesn't actually apply burning, even though it's from the Hellfire gun. But since you have detonation trigger on, and it shows that nice little preview of how big the explosion is going to be and where it's going to land, you can almost generate the whole mod back with itself. Now, this one, I don't think I've ever seen another person use this gun, but it's hilarious. So what I'm about to use is called the Meridian. It takes a lot of mod power to use the Meridian. Actually, you know what? I'd probably be better off generating mod power using something like Hotshot. Actually, you know what? No, not Hotshot. We're gonna generate crazy mod power instead. All right. So this is the basic fire of the Meridian. Literally a grenade launcher. You can get it in Lawson. It's in one of the sewers. Basically, there's a secret area in one of the sewers. I forget which ones. Where you break through some wood and you jump across some wood platforms. There's some of those green blobs that shoot lightning at you, and there's some pipes across the pit from you. In one of the pipes, there's a blob that is blocking the pipe, and if you kill the blob and come back to that area 90 minutes later, the water will have risen, and if you carefully jump across the planks, move backward after you're in the air from the jump, or you will roll off the planks. After you jump across the planks and go into the little room there, you'll get the Meridian. Now, I love the Meridian because of its mod. You can see how heavy that's hitting, right? Infinite mod power, yeah! Sorry, I get carried away sometimes. But yeah, I think you get the point. This is one of the most overpowered items in the game for mod power generation. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention here is I've seen a lot of people under the impression that mods cannot score weak point damage unless it's something like the hot shot or whatever that's just changing your projectiles. That's not actually true. Mods that use projectiles, and what I mean by that is not what we consider projectiles, but mods that use items that the game itself considers to be projectiles can score weak spot damage. Now, for example, this is the most obvious choice because, well, it is a projectile. It's just the arrow or the bullets from your gun, right? You would expect that to be able to score weak point damage. Now, this one is one that gets slept on a lot, Big Bang, because people just assume it can't score weak spot damage, but you just saw that big old red number. It sure can. Because, as the tooltip says, projectile deals 393 direct damage. It has to be a projectile in its classification in order for it to deal weak spot damage. I don't think there are very many that count as a projectile. Like this one, for example, says it fires a devastating blast, but it does actually count as a projectile when it fires, so you can get weak spot damage on the Merciless Guns mod power. Any mod power that is considered a projectile will give you weak spot damage. That's how you can kind of get the most out of your mod power generation. If you'd like to see it, I was thinking about making a video on melee weapons as well. Case in point, I'll give you an example. One of the most overpowered things you can do is, where is it? There we go. Keep in mind, I have nothing equipped for melee damage right now that I'm aware of. I think I just have like an attack speed thing. Yeah, that's it. Just one thing for melee attack speed, because I like to whip out my charged melee attacks from time to time. So I'm running a mutator on this that makes it so melee strikes of any kind increase the damage of the next backdash evade attack by 10%, up to 50%. Now, I run the Quilted Heart as my relic for a few reasons. The main reason is it gives you infinite stamina while letting you heal every time that you roll. having infinite stamina doesn't just apply toward that. It applies toward rolling, it applies toward charged melee attacks. You like how that's perfectly head height? But yeah, during the entire duration of the Quilted Heart activation, you can permanently just keep charge attacking, which is not actually possible in actual combat. I'm not in combat with the dummies, but you'll notice if you ever try it that you have infinite charged melee attacks, even if you're not running anything for reduced stamina consumption. So with items like World's Edge, where you can literally hit enemies through walls with it, it's just invaluable to be able to do that. Plus, if you're up against like big groups on Apocalypse and you can't just instantly kill everyone, if you're not running an actual melee build, like I run a mod power build, then you can run things like Disengage on it, and then hit a few of them, then do a backdash attack. Because it will charge up instantly. If you hit a few enemies, every enemy that you hit is going to give you a stack toward your next backdash attack. So, if you guys want me to do a melee showcase, let me know in the comments. I hope you found this video enlightening for your mod power builds. I love running mod power. I think mods are a lot more interesting than those basic DPS builds that are just all gunfire. Sure, it's fun for a little while, but I mean, really all you're doing is shooting the guns. I think the mods are the more fun part of the game, mods and melee. That's just me personally, but it's just my playstyle. It may not be yours, but yeah, hope y'all have a wonderful day. I'll see y'all next time.